30 seconds and we are live, son. We are live now. Now. You're not going to say anything?
I'm waiting on you.
What are you waiting for me?
I'm just waiting on you. All right. You come on and look.
I am.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, bro.
Can we just look at you?
You can.
Can you start? Come on now.
I was making sure you was good.
Jay, we're live and you're just sitting there.
I was making sure you was good. You said you wanted to look. I'm going to let you look. I was going to give you a second to get yourself together. Take a good look. Love Business on Lock podcast. Jay Clax, Dr. CaSay. What's going on, family? Happy Friday. Hopefully everything is good with you. Hopefully, everything has went the way it was supposed to. And if it did not,
so what? Can't do anything about it.
Hopefully you got a lesson out of whatever.
You didn't like that? So what, you can't do nothing about it?
No.
I like that. I like that.
I don't like that. You can't talk to people like that.
Oh, I know.
They'll turn off.
What happened?
They will turn
I know. Anyway, come on, introduce our guest because you have no energy. I need energy.
No.
All right, well then change it. Change it. Then talk.
I'm good. Go.
I just asked
you.
Go.
1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
I'm trying to.
What you trying to do?
Something that
you want to smack me? No play. So listen, we're gonna make it real quick, man. OL and Sway, we have them on deck. One of our favorite couples. They really always give a bunch of food, bunch of knowledge, and they have a bunch of experience, and they have some years in this love and marriage game. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, fam.
Happy Friday, man.
Y'all good?
Yeah, good. Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Feeling
I love Sway. But I love OL. He is so mean. He is like so mean. He's like, hey, what's up?
But you just told me I ain't had no energy when I did that.
No, because that's not who you are. Be who you are.
I am who I am.
You are.
I give you what I give you.
They are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were.
He is.
We are who we thought we were.
Oh my God!
Right.
You remember that movie? We let him off the hook,
and we let him off the hook.
You want to crown their ass and crown them.
They are who we thought they were.
Football starting, like when I tell you, I'm so excited. Football, college football, it's my favorite time of year. And then like it hits where it's baseball, football, and now basketball starts early in October. So it's that time where everything is ready to go on. And I don't even have to go out of the house. I don't have to go out the house.
You do. We have to eat.
Right. I don't have to. You cook. You're really good. How y'all doing though? I'm sorry. Enough about us.
Because you want me to cook.
Enough about us. How y'all feeling this week?
Oh man. Feeling good, feeling great.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
Y'all listen.
Packed week.
Man, it's been a stacked week.
Packed.
Listen.
It's been pancakes every day.
We overstand that. Let me tell you something. I have so much to unpack tonight. So much.
Oh wow.
I feel that.
Oh wow.
So much.
Right.
Like I don't even know how I feel about him right this second.
Oh, she got on me because she like, yo, you have to go to the gym and you run him.
That's not what I was talking
about. Let me
get
there though.
I'm gonna tell it all our business.
I went to the gym. I told her I got to maintain my sexy. So
which is a problem that I had yesterday.
This is the segue. This is a segue. I'm getting this is a segue. So I got to maintain my sexy. So I got to make sure I do the things I need to do to maintain.
Y'all almost caught a case yesterday.
So you wasn't
my.
With your 85-year-old aunt.
86-year-old aunt. Yes, I was gonna catch a case.
So a family member of mine, of hers, and he's like family to me. But we DJ'd from childhood, played football, basketball together. And he's family. His dad passed, so we went to the funeral yesterday. And again, this is Cassandra's cousin, and we didn't put 2 and 2 together until COVID. So fast forward to yesterday, her aunt that she talked about, she said, my aunt is real like she be after the young guys. My aunt after the young guys. She 86. She gonna say some inappropriate stuff. She's gonna do
it was terrible. It was terrible.
And
Did she hit you with the Marcus, darling?
Huh?
Did she hit you with the Marcus, darling?
Oh no.
She might as well. She might as well.
But she may as well, right? So we leave it. The funeral, the service is over. Every family walking out. We stop. She walks up, and then she introduces me to her aunt, and then her aunt like fills up on my bicep, right? Fills up on my bicep.
No, she does this. Ooh.
Right? And then tell her, I'm checking them out for you.
I gotta make sure everything is right for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure.
I grab her hand because I see her hand about to go across his chest. I grab her hand and say, "Hey, lady, that's not nice. That's not what you're gonna do." So he walks off to have a whole conversation. She was like, "Yeah, he nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's not. Oh, old lady, no, old lady."
She was giving
Old
Jay an
lady, I will
appraisal.
fight you. I will fight you, old lady. Okay, I will fight you.
She was giving Jay an appraisal.
Listen. So fast forward, she makes a few inappropriate comments, right? Fast forward, we go to the cemetery, we leave the cemetery, and no, we're about to leave the cemetery, and she walks up to him. She's like, "Now you be quiet. If he don't mind, I don't mind." And I'm looking like, "Jay, tell her you mind."
I'm not trying to say nothing. I'm just trying to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to get out of here.
Fast forward, now we're at the family home. She walks in, okay, and grabs his arm and says, "Ooh, my husband used to have biceps like this. I haven't felt one like this since my husband passed." Little old lady. Okay, you need a chair. I'm gonna find Jay. Go get her a seat. Go get her a chair so she can sit over there. Okay. I'm gonna have this conversation with OL because I need you to know how inappropriate my aunt was. I can't even talk this way because she keeps laughing. Okay?
Is this for real?
No,
is this even for real?
Right. No, this is real. We couldn't make
Like
it.
I'm watching a movie.
I know, right?
At the same time, yesterday was my daughter's birthday, so I was leaving. And Jay was going to bring me back to my daughter because she came in town for her birthday. And my aunt, I said, "Okay, Aunt Frida, I'm about to go. Boom, boom, boom. I'll see you later. Love you." She said, "You about to leave?" I said, "Yes." I said, "But he's coming back." He said, "Yeah, I'm going to take her home and I'm going to come back." She said, "Do you need me to babysit him?"
Oh.
I said, I'm a grown man, man. Grown man. I really don't need nobody babysitting. I'm a grown man. Like to the point, she like, "Hey, let me touch him one more time and I'll leave him alone."
She did. She said, "If you let me touch him again, I will behave." I said, "What?"
She
repeated it.
This is your aunt.
Yeah.
86-year-old aunt. Did I tell you that? On a cane.
And then call, because the aunt is her father's, is her father's sister, and call her mother and said,
"Oh, she sure do have a fine piece of meat." So now my mother is embarrassed. Like, I know Jay thinks all kinds of terrible things about us, but we're not these people. It's just that your aunt's a little frisky.
My goodness.
Wow.
She was serious too. She was that was the bad part. She really was serious. She really was serious.
And you guys don't even know the entire conversation that happened because I can't even tell you half of the stuff that she said. However,
well, I'm just thinking to myself how much environment matters, and I'm thinking, I'm thinking a cemetery, a repast, all that kind of stuff. They got. I'm assuming y'all had the chicken and potato salad flowing. Like, this is not the environment for this.
This wasn't. I mean, this was when we got out of the funeral home. We
outside of the chapel.
We're ready to leave.
We
still in the chapel.
Yes.
Though. We ain't went out the building.
Thank you.
Then at the cemetery. Then when we get back to the family's house, right at the, because we kind of were standing because there wasn't a whole lot of seats, and I didn't think she was coming, but she came right on in with her cane and everything.
And came right to him.
Like, okay, like, I'm glad to see you here.
Came right to him. The bad part about it is she was an elementary school principal.
Yeah, that's disturbing. that's disturbing.
On so many levels.
That is.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's get started, people.
Yeah.
Let's get started. You know what I want to talk about today? I want to talk about strength, right?
Wow.
Strength and vulnerability. Why do I want to talk about those two things? Because one, I believe that I am in love with the strongest man in the world. The second strongest man, my father being the strongest, right? I do believe that. And I believe that in their strength, sometimes it's hard for them to be vulnerable.
So I was apologizing to her, and almost like he was like a little brother, because again, like I said, this passion was family oriented. It was the guys that I grew up with, and the guys that kind of came up the generation after us. So I don't really show too much emotion. I'll tell you how I feel, but I don't really show a whole lot of emotion. And it was something about my family. I mean, my guy not having neither one of his parents, and kind of just had dealt with death back to back to back. You know, his mother, his girlfriend, then his dad. And I'm thinking, he don't have, his support system is very small now.
Yeah.
His father was a stand-up guy. I'm thinking about him. I'm thinking about what would I do if I lost my dad, because me and my father are like this. And at the burial, I couldn't keep it together. Like, I'm strong. We ain't, you know, death happens. I know that. And I kind of couldn't keep it together. At one point right before we left, I couldn't keep it together. And I was apologizing to Cassandra, and basically somebody like I look at as my little brother. I'm apologizing. They like, yo, what are you apologizing for? I'm like, I'm sorry, because I felt like I wasn't strong for them. You know, I don't really show that. Not that I don't show it. I'm just usually fine. But it was something about. It was something that hit me. It was something that hit me, and I had the waterworks on. I couldn't keep it together. I don't know. I was like, man, what are you doing? I'm apologizing. She like, what are you apologizing for? She in front of me, making sure I'm good, and pause. You know what I mean? My little brother is behind me, like, yo, it's all right. We're gonna be okay. You know, I don't know. It was something. I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I wasn't being strong for them because I was, you know, I had an emotional moment, which I rarely ever have. You know, I rarely have. So I felt bad. I was apologizing. She's like, you don't have a reason to apologize. And I just felt like I should have, you know, felt like I should have.
Man.
That's a lot.
That's heavy. First of all, I mean, our condolences.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
That's
appreciate it. Thank you.
It's not easy ever. And I feel like sometimes when someone passes, there's such a it's an emotional place where we all respond some kind of different based on, you know, our relationship, and based on what other areas maybe we're under pressure as well too. But at the end of the day, you know, we're all human, you know. And I think sometimes in our community, when people are taught to be strong, that it has to look a certain way, right? And that strong doesn't equal human for some strange reason. And seemingly you feel like because you show that you're human, that you're not strong, and that's not true at all. I think it takes a lot of strength to be human, to show that and to allow that part of vulnerability, to show, even though you may not have wanted it to. But the thing is, we're human, and I think we put some extra pressure on ourselves that is unnecessary, like does not even require, nobody's requiring it. And maybe that's the sense of responsibility you felt, to those who you wanted to model this superhuman strength, right? But the truth is, it's human strength, and being human, it shows that life happens to all of us, and we all have our areas. Now, I know as a man, you probably have some insight of what that.
Yeah, I think
culturally,
I think it's important to like define terms.
Yeah.
To make sure that we mean the same thing when we use certain words.
Yeah.
So, Cassandra, you use the word vulnerable, and you were kind of holding that next to strength. And then what you just said, Jay, was, more of an event where that did or did not happen in a certain way. And so I think sometimes when people say vulnerable, for some people in their mind, they mean transparent. And I think when some people say transparent, I think in their mind they mean vulnerable. And I personally don't, because it's funny you brought this up. I've been thinking about this actually as kind of a word that I've been kind of playing with for a while. I'm not sure that a person has to be vulnerable in order to be transparent. And I'm not sure that a person can be vulnerable without being transparent. So if I'm going to be vulnerable, it's going to require at least a degree of transparency.
Right.
But I could be transparent and not necessarily be vulnerable. I think vulnerability comes with either feeling secure or insecure. But I think a person could be transparent and feel secure in whatever it is that they are showing or disclosing. So I think sometimes in relationships, I think women may want, as men, to be both. But as men, we may process them or define them differently. So speaking generationally, probably our grandparents' generation, if I look at those men, I think they were taught not to be vulnerable and not to be too transparent.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the next generation, which would be our parents, let's go ahead and presume we're talking about baby boomers. I think the more they embrace, I think that generation, as they became more educated than the previous generation, I think they learned a lot about psychology and philosophy and all types of liberal arts, which by virtue of studying those things is going to necessitate some degree of disclosing of the heart. So I think they learned to become more transparent than the previous generation, and probably some degree of vulnerability. Our generation, and I'm going to presume we're in the same one, so I would probably be classified, not probably, I am classified as a Gen X generation.
Right. We're definitely in the same one. Yeah.
Okay.
So Gen X wise, I think a lot of us, I'm speaking as the men, I think a lot of us, by virtue of being latchkey kids, we came home, nobody was there. We cooked, we did our homework. If we had younger siblings, we cooked for them. We helped them with their homework. So we kind of became the babysitters of younger siblings to a larger degree, and our generation became even more educated. And so I think because we had our own challenges to endure, but they were different challenges than generations prior. So I think we probably embraced a little more transparency, but not necessarily vulnerability. And here's why I say that. Because the only emotion that was synonymous with strength was anger.
Mm.
And I think I think the men in our generation have a lot to prove. I think we had big chips on our shoulder because I think we were counted out. Actually, Gen Xers were called slackers. We were called the slacker generation.
Right.
They said that we were going to be in elongated childhoods. So while our parents might have gotten their own place to live, when they was 18, we might have stayed with our parents till we were 20 something, by and large. Not everybody, of course, each case is going to be different. So I think to some degree we did have elongated childhood. If you look at how you and I act now versus how our parents acted when they were our age, we would probably be looked at as acting younger. I think previous generations were more serious earlier in their years. Not to say that we're less serious, not to say that at all. But with that being said, I think we didn't have, by and large, now this is not everybody, like I didn't have my dad there. So I was raised around my grandmother, her sisters, my mom, her sisters, and my great grandmother even. So obviously I'm being raised around a lot of women. So for me, expressing your emotions was a little more acceptable in that environment. I didn't have a guy telling me, don't you cry, hold your head up. Da, da, da. I didn't have that. I was more or less allowed to sort of let it go.
Right.
But go ahead.
So I agree 1,000% with what you said. 1,000. And Jay's very transparent, right? But I think that in some cases in our generation, that the men translate being vulnerable for weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I don't think that that's a weakness, because to go back to what Sway said, it's a human emotion.
Absolutely.
And in our cultural realm, like therapy is not something that we do, well, I do it, but it's not something overall that you see, because you're looked upon as, oh, she's crazy, or oh, they're crazy. Oh, I don't need anybody to talk to me. Oh, I can figure it out. Or the famous line that comes from him, who therapist is?
Yeah, who therapist is therapist? Like, who's talking to you to give me this info, man? That's what I've been trying to figure out. Listen, you got all this knowledge. Who taught you all of this? You know what I mean? So, I had to stop because she said too many people listen to you, and you giving people the wrong thing. You might not need it, but somebody else does. I do make sure I do things to, as my outlet, to make sure that I keep a steady, I stay a certain place mentally. I watch stuff in the morning, motivational pieces, and try to get learning pieces and things of that nature, because we never stop learning. And the gym is a great outlet for me. Gym is a great outlet. I can see progress. in there with like-minded individuals, and you know, you learn some things too. If somebody can stay consistent on, because that's not easy as well, to put your body through that. That's not necessarily easy. So that is you know, I use that as a form of therapy. But as I was listening to you, OL, and Cassandra talk, I'm thinking about, I was a sports kid, and from young, I fell in love with football, which our kids don't necessarily do now because we scared to let them outside. But my love for football came from playing outside with, you know, all the kids in the neighborhood. We playing throw up, get tackled. We playing tag. We going down the field. We playing bone ball. We're doing this. So there was a love, and I brought that up because in coaching and that, we had to man up.
That's right.
You know, class to man up. Well, I got to man up. I can't, you know, I had, you get those, when you're being coached, you get those things, man, you know, man up and go through it. And we just, so I'm taught that my shoulders got to be broad and I got to push through, you know, so I'm going to push through regardless. I mean, that's why I don't necessarily have a issue with being in the valley, because I'm okay. I know that this pain ain't going to last but so long. Pain is not, it's temporary, period. I don't care what's going on. Mental pain, physical pain, whatever the case, eventually it is going to subside. And you just got to know that you have to go through it, fight there. And it's funny because even at the funeral, the preacher was talking, and he talked about the valley, and you know, you're not going in, you're going through. So we got a destination to get through it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's usually my thought process. Whatever it is, I'm fine. I'm gonna get through. I just know. I know I'm gonna get through. And it might not be within a month. It might not be within a year. But I am going to get through whatever this valley is and get back to the peak. You know, or make my way to the peak. I know that, but I am aware that not everybody is built like that. So I try to give that food, or try to give that to whoever. Then you know, we got to get through. We got to get through. I mean, you know, we go through stuff all the time, and we got to get through. I can't sit here and live in that, and you know. I can't live in that. I got to get through. I can't live in that energy. You know what I'm saying? So I had a conversation with my grandmother about this, you know, as well today. And my grandma, usually whatever my grandmother tell me, and we just talked, and she said the same thing, because you know what I'm saying, you cry, you're a man. Like, that doesn't show you not being a man. You know, but that's what I know. I am in tears apologizing to Cass, and basically like my little brother. I'm sorry. I'm saying this as I'm sorry. They like, yo, you have no reason to be sorry.
And so I don't know if this sounds odd, right? Because I'm gonna read the question that was just asked, but I wanted to make this statement. I don't know if this sounds odd, but for me, it was actually attractive, because I felt like, okay, you felt comfortable enough to tear those walls down and trust me with your emotions. So for me, it was attractive, because I'm like, you know what, like, he's comfortable, you know, and I feel like when a man is in that space, it is very important as to how we handle that space. Absolutely. Because if we're not protective of that space, then that could send, which the comment down bottom says about compartmentalizing it. I feel like if we as women are not careful, we can make it so a man won't share and they will just compartmentalize their feelings, you know.
No, that's real. That's real. I think that it's there's an emotional process that has to happen. So, or that should happen, which is healthy. I'll say should happen. So even when there are infrequent showings of, great intense emotions, feeling like, even if maybe letting people down, which is not the case at all, but that's a part of the process. It's a healthy thing. It's like, it's a good thing to be able, number one, to do it, and then to be able to do it. Yes, I would agree. Like in front of you, that is definitely a sign of having that level of trust. That's a, trust that you see me even when I feel weak. And I feel weak, which is why I'm telling you, I'm sorry, because I don't want to be weak for you. I want to be strong for you, which is not, it's not weak,
Right.
So it's just, it's a healthy part of our emotions. And just imagine not doing that, and having that pinned up inside. And many times you probably have throughout life, which is why it probably even startled you emotionally, like, whoa, I'm trying to stop it, but it's not stopping, it's just there because you're human, you're human. And all the different emotional attachments to that, like all the other areas that may have been pinned up as well too, oftentimes just kind of collide and just like there's no more room inside, and it because we're human, because we are limited beings, we're not superhuman in that sense. And I know people say that term, but that's a heavy crown to wear, it's a heavy crown to wear. Especially when you want to have that space to be human. So I think that's a very healthy thing. It's healthy.
We try to be superhuman as much as, and I don't even think it's a thing of being superhuman. I think it's just kind of what we do, what we taught, and
Right.
that's what I think. I'm not sitting there, saying I got a cape and I got to go into the phone booth and change and put my Superman, suit on, but. I just know that I always tell her my shoulders are broad and we'll be okay. We'll figure it out. I'll be fine. Give me a second. Let me be, even if I'm going through something, let me be pissed off. I just need a few minutes. Let me be pissed off for a few minutes. Give me a second. Let me cuss by myself. Let me do what I need to do. And I'll be back to, I'll be back and keep going. But I need a second. You can't just, because if I don't get the second, I'm going to lash out. And I don't want to lash out on her or to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I need the second,
Oh, well, what's your thoughts?
I think it was the day before yesterday. I had a breakdown. My wife doesn't know. I mean, this is the first time she's hearing of it. And I was just sitting up and I was just crying. I had a breakdown. And what it is pressure looking for somewhere to go. And a lot of times as men, we don't always have, because we're so answer oriented, we don't always have answers. So if somebody asks us what's wrong, we don't always know how to say what's wrong. I think that would be anybody, but by the way, not just men. But I think it reminds me, I was in 6th grade and I was playing the trombone, and a brass instrument like that will build up saliva the more you play it. And you have to have a place for that buildup to go. And so at the end of the slide bar, there's this little nozzle.
It's a little nozzle that you,
Yeah. And so what you do is you press it, but you blow like you're playing the horn, and it shoots out the buildup. And so if you don't do that, your notes will be off and stuff will just be real funny. Like, oh, you You probably need to clear out the pipe. And so what happens is we go through life just playing our horn, particularly men, and we don't clear out that buildup, and our notes are off, and it shows up in other areas. It shows up in being curt and short with people. It shows up in sometimes being cynical and sarcastic. It can show up in all kinds of ways. It shows up in pride for sure. And what happens is that when a man is not vulnerable, and I did not say not transparent, but when we're not vulnerable, it's because we don't feel secure to be vulnerable. And two things a man needs to know if he's going to express his emotions. Number one, will I still maintain my footing in your eyes? Will I still maintain my position in your eyes if I do let myself go? But we already think to ourselves that won't happen. So we typically won't allow ourselves to go there. Not without some growth and understanding. The other thing is that if I do let myself go, I don't want to become a person who is given to emotionalism. Now, there's a difference, I think, from being emotional and being and emotionalism. Being emotional is inevitable. Everybody's emotional. Everybody, the hardest guy is emotional. Okay. What he does with it, now that's a different story. So if he doesn't express it, then like I said, that buildup is going to show up in other areas. But part of his concern is if I do this every time I feel this way, then it's going to become a pattern. And that's what we call emotionalism. And emotionalism is not attractive because it's like it's like you're all over the place. If we give way to every emotion every time we feel it, man, everybody would be moody. You couldn't emotionally trust anybody. Part of what makes a man emotionally trustworthy is his ability to manage those emotions. But that's a delicate balance. And so could we cry more? I think so. Could we say, you know what? I don't feel strong right now or in this situation. I think that's okay, but it's got to be in a space where we're not going to lose our position in your eyes. And we don't want it to become a pattern where we get viewed as weak, because then a person who can't control their own emotions, that is a weakness. When we can't manage it. I'm not saying not feel it, but when we can't manage it. If every time I'm mad, you see it, and every time I'm sad, you see it, and every time I'm depressed, you see it, and every time I'm anxious, you see it. Do you know how many times I go through those emotions in a 24-hour period? You see what I'm saying? So to some extent, I think we do need to manage that. But I think we can go to the opposite extreme. See, there's a ditch on both sides of the road. If I drift too far to the right, I'm gonna go in that ditch. Okay, which is I'm just totally, ice. You don't see nothing. Or if I go too much to the other side of the ditch, you see everything, and it's like, what's wrong with this guy? So it's striking that balance that I think is the challenge, and part of what helps us in that balance is when the women in our life we can sense that can be trusted with. If I cry, am I going to lose my position in your eyes?
I think that is so true. Like I don't know. I'm sorry, Jay, because I knew I apologize because I knew you were getting ready to say something, but I don't know. Like as Sway was speaking, I could kind of see that OL had something that was really about to break it down. And really everything that you said, that is what that moment made me feel yesterday, you know, and it's like I wanted to encourage him or let him know, hey, this is fine. This is okay. This is human. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
You still are my Superman. You are my superhero. I still think that you are the strongest person in the world because I do. And it is okay for me to see that things touch you, not bother, touch you. And it is, and my, as broad as your shoulders are for me all the time, I want you to know that my shoulders are just as broad. And so if you need that moment, you got it. And I got you, you know, because I don't think in our culture that we promote that enough.
Yeah.
And we wonder why our kids are so hard and tough and don't care about it. You know, I for real, mentally, I do believe that that's why you have some of the more harsher crimes now, because kids want to be so tough and no, I can't. I'm a punk if I cry. No, you're not a punk. You live in life.
I mean,
so I apologize.
No, I still, because I think that a lot of times if things are going on and you can't keep the emotions in check, a lot of times we make bad decisions driven off emotions.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
you know, you really have to. I really even. So, you know, we on the show. I mean, on the podcast, we give always full disclosure and do our best to be as transparent as we can, and we try to give what we can and what we go through so that it can, you know, bounce it off of you guys, and then hopefully it'll help somebody. So when we're taking care of some business or something happened, and if we're not in each other's presence, you call, hey, this happened, and this person, and it'll get under her skin. A lot of times I'll tell her, go ahead, you have the right to be upset. I want you to take the emotions out of it, because whatever the decision you make on how you're going to proceed, I want it to be the right way that you proceed. And when she takes the emotions out of it and thinks about it, she's very what's the word I'm looking for? Really makes a real precise and thought about decision after she takes the emotions out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times people, when we use emotions and we just lash out and do whatever we thinking once we mad or sad or whatever the case may be, in hindsight, it was like, we shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? Because you acted on emotion. And so I guess that's a balance as well.
Yes.
That I don't, you know, I really try to make most of my decisions are made without emotion. Let me step back. Let me think about it for a minute. I might take a day or two. Let me think about it. And then I can move forward. You know, because when you start making decisions out of emotion, we start smacking people. We start beating people up. We end up locked up because we made a decision. Most people in jail made a decision out of emotion.
Some people need to be smacked.
You know what I'm saying? Made a decision out of emotion, and then they regret it. You know. You know, sometimes you just got to step back. It can't be so impulsive. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, and I think, man, that is such a good point. I think there's a distinction between being emotional and being impulsive. I think that acting on pure emotion, especially abruptly, is definitely impulse. I think that's solid. Have y'all seen a movie called Unhinged?
No.
So I went on a guy's trip this past week, and we was up in the mountains in PA, and we watched this movie with Russell Crowe called Unhinged, and it's about Road Rage.
I have
The
seen
whole movie.
Unhinged. I have seen Unhinged. I have,
Every-
and you saw it too. I put it on.
I saw.
Yeah, you've seen it. You've seen it.
I don't really watch nothing but sports, but go ahead.
I can't remember if it's Netflix or if it's Amazon Prime, but I will tell you every decision he made in that movie, by the way, they were all bad. Was just what you said, Jay, off of pure emotion.
Right.
Every single decision. And every decision he made from minute 1 till the end of the movie was a crime.
No, I mean, I
Dude
know.
was unhinged.
Right.
Or maybe you didn't pay attention, but I played it when we drove to Miami. That's how I remembered it.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. I didn't watch it. I'm not necessarily the biggest movie watcher unless it's funny or some black people in it.
Or Beach Street.
Like, or some old school nostalgic. You know what I mean? But I will watch
I'm
that.
so serious about that.
I will watch that, and then I will have when we talk next time. Yeah, I want I'll take it in. And I'm probably bad with that. I'm probably missing some stuff because like I told you, you see how excited I got when I was talking about football. So I missed some stuff.
No doubt.
And I'm a funny guy. I want to laugh. It's serious, and she say that you don't never smile in the picture. Y'all really want to laugh. I want to watch comedy. I want to smack the wall. You know, like laughing. I really do. And usually, if it's not funny or there's no black people in it, I'm probably not going to watch it. I'm so pro us. Like I'm not to the point that I'm just pro us. You know what I'm saying? Like
you are really
right.
pro us.
I want to have some
really.
black. I want to see some black people. You know.
So listen, guys, we have not done this in a while, and I want to do it today because it's 8:50. I just want to play a game.
I don't know. We was dropping food. We was giving food today. Let's get food today.
We get food every time we talk to them. Like I feel like we feed people a lot.
Okay.
Okay. The kitchen is closed.
Okay.
You don't think so?
Okay.
So, looks like the world is about to close back down.
No, please don't speak that into existence.
I'm not speaking it into existence. I watched CNN today, and that's what they said. So
what look, are they giving any more money?
He doesn't want to play the games.
No, really. You shut the world down. Are you giving any more money out?
I don't know. I'm not the government.
You know?
It's above my pay grade. Listen, so with that said, looks like that the world may be shutting back down, right? What do you want to take into lockdown with us? And it can be anything.
If that happens, is what
if
you said.
that happens, yeah.
Some real money.
What three things do you want to take?
Right.
What three things do you want to take?
Some real money.
You want some like gold bars?
I would great say get our stocks in cryptocurrency up. And I really want to have some property, that is making, some money for us. And I'm sorry that it all surrounded money.
It really did, because three things have nothing to do with
because money. That will continue to go. Our money needs to make some money for us. And I learned that, like, our money cannot sit there. It needs to make our money should be working for us. And we need to acquire some assets.
Okay, so you know me well enough to know that that's not even what I was thinking. So the three things that I would like to take in.
I'm sorry.
The three things that I would like to take in after the last one.
You maintaining my sex.
No, you're gonna do that anyway. No, I don't want to feel your chest. So one is peace. Because I feel like do you guys see what I'm dealing with.
I'm sorry.
Because one, if you have peace, and I think we took that into the last pandemic, we weren't super scared, super hyper. We were still able to live. We were still able to live and maintain because we had peace within ourselves and we had peace within our relationship. So one thing that I do want to take is peace. The second thing I would like to take in is the ability to set doable goals, because I feel like so many of us set goals during the last pandemic. Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh, when the world, and we haven't done anything. So I want the ability to set doable goals. And then honestly, the third thing that I would want to take in is a stronger foundation of being able to build and grow together. So those are the three things that I would take. OL and Sway, what would you guys take?
You want me to go first?
Oh, and I would take him too.
What'd you say?
I would take him too.
He's
I'm just wondering,
well, he 4/5 down the line.
Maybe 8, 9.
Fifth ain't gonna listen to this guy.
You know, when I guess in early 2020, mid 2020, and we had conversations about OL needing to just take a break. Something that we put in place that I definitely would say that to continue, or that would be something that would trigger it. We started doing shorter work weeks.
So good.
And it started with Thursday, I think half day Thursday, and then all day off. I felt fine. But then I realized I don't need to wait until I'm burned out to pause. So I started pausing.
That's a whole nugget right there, sweetheart.
Right.
Yeah.
Big up on that.
Yeah. So then I started pausing too, because I didn't want to wait until I got to the place where, it's beyond E and you just can't go anymore. And so we thought at first it would just be like 1 week we would do that for him. And we were like, okay, we like half day Thursday, light day Thursday, we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then that just kind of, we were expecting that to be it. But then realized we got to do this again. So we did it again. And then several months into it, we were just like, wow, this became really more of a lifestyle. And then we started getting back outside and stuff again. And then it kind of flew out the window. So like getting back to that, I think definitely would be a good thing. And then something else that I would like to get back to that I actually was more intentional with was making more time for like social, for like friends that maybe I hadn't spoken to in a while. So just rebuilding relationships, pouring into relationships that we can feed off of one another. I would say that value. Yeah, you can't put a money on that. A price tag on that. And these are like people that care for you, that go back. She looking like that.
No.
I was like, your face
stink. He felt in the sink.
Like,
Y'all
I felt like I pressed the pause button because you were frozen. You were like,
right. You were supposed to go off camera. Like, at least go off camera. She gave me.
It hit me. And
I'm like, yo, at least go off frame. Go off frame. Go out of frame.
I was like, did they freeze? Like,
no, that was her. That was her telling me that my belt didn't smell that great.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Now that's out in the world. We can never take it back. It's gone.
Well, my nose can't take that hold of it.
Oh my God, y'all too much.
That's what
It's gone.
Oh, that's funny.
I apologize. I'm back. Watch this. Watch this. I'm back.
Just like that.
Just like that.
I'm back.
Oh, that's funny.
Right. She lost your train of thought.
You know, I was thinking like, what would be the third thing? You know what? Something else. I'm thinking about like what went really well. What are some really good points that that came out of the craziness of 2020? I guess life points, and that I would be like, you know what? That was really good. If we could, I'm not saying if we could go back, but if that happened, we could thrive. Now knowing what we saw and what we've experienced. Another area in business, though, outside of us having more downtime, alone time, together time, and then the social, just relationships, very relationship based. This other part is relationship based too, but it's more so in the business area. What happened to us the first time is we found a way. I started getting all these text messages from people that we coached years ago, and me particularly in my consultancy. And I was teaching them how to do online business eons ago. And now they were like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And then they started asking more questions. And then I realized, you know what? There are other people out there likely that need this help too. So what we did is we took one of our courses for couples that were looking to start a business that was like about 10 weeks long, and we condensed it to 4 weeks. And for us, we wanted to make sure they can get results quickly. We had people, couples where wives were being furloughed because of COVID. And they were like, well, she was like, this is my chance. I've always said I wanted to launch a business. So I just need help. So it was like, okay, let's do this. And then so just bringing all these different couples together and watching them launch in the middle of a pandemic was really, I just feel really it's a blessing to do that type of work, to help them build their legacy and get the skills that will take them beyond, just through this short season of time, but something that can really impact their legacy. So I would say do those again for me.
Yeah. I share in some of those too. I would actually I would take with me, if that were to happen, more human interaction. And by that, I just mean I would probably Zoom my family, talk with friends that I just kind of take advantage of the fact that we don't have to always talk. And I think sometimes when you have those friends where it's like, we don't have to always talk, we think, okay, we don't have to always talk. But that doesn't mean that we should not talk more.
Right.
So I would definitely come off of an island, even if that meant I can only do it in a virtual way. So that'd be number one. Second thing I would do is, or I would take with me is, and I did it, and I would carry it with me actually. I would definitely manage me on social media more. I'll give you an example. So like during the last pandemic, I personally, individually, got off of IG.
You mean close your account?
Yeah, I closed my account, shut it down completely. And I thought that I would come back on my birthday, which was a week and a half or something like that ago. I realized after assessing my own life, right now, I'm not coming back on IG. I mean, I still have my Facebook page because there's a lot that goes on there, especially regarding family and my ability to manage other business pages. But also even, so yeah, I like the way I am right now. And I would say that me not being on social the way that I was has definitely helped my mental health, if you will. I noticed that. And I was talking with a friend about that yesterday, just through text. And so I really appreciate that. So I would keep that going. And then thirdly, I would definitely take with me more physical movement. I gained weight. I had that quarantine pound happening, and I don't like it, the inactivity. So even though I would be on lockdown, and I know that looks differently in different cities, but I could still physically go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely take advantage of that more so. And I would do it the way I need to do it, on the terms in which I need to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to say, one thing I feel about the last quarantine, honestly, I loved it. I felt like we got closer during the quarantine, and then once the world opened up, it was like it's not the same. So me personally, I would welcome another quarantine, because I just felt like, and in most cases it's been reversed. Oh yeah, I don't like this about my mate, or I didn't like that. No, like I loved everything about it. I loved being able to be in the house and cook. I loved us sitting there watching TV and laughing. I loved, when we did open the house up, even though he makes fun of the fact that, listen, y'all, if y'all came over our house during quarantine, if you said, okay, I'm about to leave, before you got out your seat, I was spraying you down with Lysol, spraying the seat down with Lysol, and wipe down. He made fun of that.
Like, yo, let the people leave before you can start spraying goddamn Lysol. They ain't even out the door yet. Ain't even out the door.
Y'all, I know it's something wrong with me, but I'm sorry. So, for me, I would welcome it. I mean, yes and no. I would welcome the fact that I feel like we became a lot closer, and I loved everything about it. What's your thoughts? Oh my God. It's past time. Wow.
No, but I ate well because we ate healthy. She cooked and we ate healthy. And for me, it's funny because I can eat the same thing every day. I don't have a problem with that. Because it's good. If I didn't like it, then that's something different. But I eat the same thing every day: grilled chicken, broccoli, and rice. I'm okay.
Don't forget the asparagus.
I'll do asparagus
or maybe some broccoli.
But it's usually grilled chicken, broccoli, rice, and I'm so good with that. And I worked out outside as well. Wasn't as much lifting heavy, but a bunch of pull-ups, dips, push-ups, we running, everything was calisthenics, and that was my outlet, that was my outlet. So we really, the quarantine helped us, helped us a lot. So
yeah,
that is my spiel.
I love you guys. You guys are
love y'all too.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for everything. Thank you for always opening up to us. Thank you for dropping the gems that you do unselfishly. Thank you just for being great human beings.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, because that's the other thing that we can say we could bring back into the quarantine is our relationships and our friendships that we have, developed with different couples such as yourself. So, with that said, we love you guys. We know you'll be back on again sometime because, sometimes we just need you guys to fill us up, and we appreciate you, Jay talks about the value, and it is definitely value there.
Got to be some value.
We benefit too, so it's definitely mutual.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
I want to say this too. All burps pretty much smell alike. They all smell like deli.
Belts that much.
Listen, here's what I've learned.
And ship it to Jersey. You hear me?
Here's what I've learned. All burps smell like deli meat.
And he don't even eat deli meat. That's exactly what it smelled like. That's why I was like,
you see what I'm saying? I'm telling you. Man, she said,
I don't.
I didn't know what happened. I'm telling you, because I was sitting there like.
I don't usually belch. I mean,
it don't matter what we eat. They all smell like bodega sandwiches.
That's nasty.
I'm telling
you. Look, I apologize, and it took us a second.
It did.
I was like, why didn't you go off camera before you?
Because
baby face?
I'm listening, and then something was like, I was like,
So Cassandra, was it salami?
yes, it was.
See,
yes,
I know.
So
yo, I promise you, I was like, what the fuck happened?
They was like, man, I don't even eat that. I'm telling you, it don't matter what it don't matter what you eat. It all comes out smelling that way. I don't know what that is.
I was sitting there like, what just happened?
I ain't really had nothing to drink this week. Hey,
I'm sorry. It was funny though. And I was in serious mode. I was like,
hey, listen, I'm gone, yo.
I love y'all.
Clearly, you don't play poker.
No, y'all wrapped it up already. I don't got nothing to say.
Clearly, Cassandra, you do not play poker. Clearly,
no,
right.
You know what? So I will tell you. So the person who's been commenting all night long has known me literally for over 40 years. Okay.
Oh wow.
And I promise you, this face, I have tried, but it just like I try real hard. But I just, I'm not a poker.
She don't play poker.
Yeah, I don't play poker. The one time I played, I won, but no, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But listen, guys, thank you so much for everything. Like I said, everything that we shared was really from the heart. You know, we love you guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate the time that you take to be on Love Business Online. You know, you unselfishly do it. You unselfishly make sure that no matter what, you know, even if you can't do it when we need it, you know, you make sure you make a way, you know, so we appreciate that. And, you know, we have to give people their flowers. We was just talking about that. And so, you know, we just love you so much. Next week, Love Business on Lock, we have Pastor Dwight Buckner. You remember Pastor, don't you? From Married at First Sight. And actually, he actually hit us up and was like, okay, it's time for me to come back on. I have some stuff to talk to you guys about. So that's right. So I'm afraid. Look, I'm afraid. And so that is next. Yeah, that's next Friday. We are not going to do a show on next Wednesday because our kids start school. And I think it's very important, you know, that first day to be able to make sure homework's done and, you know, just the things that you need to make sure of. So we are going to bypass next Wednesday and go straight to next Friday. And shout out to Jay's dad and my daughter. They both just celebrated a birthday this week. So, you know, another year living, you know.
My father,
happy belated, fam.
Yeah.
My father's a real like,
he's a real cool dude.
Real good guy.
Yes.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Birthday season.
Yeah. And so with that said, we love you guys. Until next time, thank you for being on Love Business Online. What's your positive spiel? Give it to him, baby.
Gotta have some value in a relationship. I mean, you know, we talk about our circle, but you know, our circle needs to have some value. If there's no value, then it's unnecessary. That's it. So make sure your circle offers you some value. And with that being said, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, OL and Sway. Cassandra, thanked you already. And we appreciate y'all. Please have a safe weekend. All right?
Likewise.
Well.
All right.